Hello, hello. Where are you coming from? What was next door?
Um, these for kids. I got here a little late, and then there was like a long line to get my.
Hey.
How you doing?
All right.
You doing okay?
Are you related to Dr. Omar?
The
No.
previous Dr. Omar.
Not
No,
Dr.
but I
Omar.
wish. He's so
Okay.
popular.
Because he was he was one of my teachers. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I've gotta ask her.
I try to channel his spirit, although I didn't know him.
Okay. I was like, well, maybe it was a niece, or maybe.
I've heard so many nice things, though.
He was here a long time.
I mean, I wish.
Yeah. I just
Yeah,
like,
he was
Sorry.
leaving
No, you're fine. I get asked a lot.
and started, so
right. Well,
I got to meet him.
It's less awkward than having to tell people, like, is that bench outside named after you? No.
No, that's just named
that's
after Al.
amazing though. I have lots of classes.
That's awesome. But I am 14 pounds down in less than a week. Isn't that
Oh
crazy?
my God,
It's crazy.
that is crazy.
I had gastric sleeve last Tuesday, so less than a week ago.
I don't know. Is the recovery hard?
Well, it's one of those. It's okay. It's very doable. The first couple of days, you definitely taking it easy.
Right.
But I was like, if I took Girl Scouts to the Space Center on Saturday, I can do this. Yeah. Well, we already had it planned. Hey. So the thing with the surgery is they were like, well, we can do it like in 3 days, or we could do it in August. I was like, what would be worse?
All classes already started.
Yeah.
You've got a full teaching load.
So I thought, we're just gonna make it work. And then this weekend I had Girl Scouts coming to camp at my house. So it was like, we're gonna make it happen.
Hi, Dr. J.
Hello. How have you been?
I'm all right. How are you? How did you qualify? Me too.
Job hunting.
You had to be.
Oh God, I know.
But you're not. You know.
Oh, well, at surgery day, I was 322, so I definitely qualify.
Okay.
I'm 308 today.
Job hunting.
People say that, people carry it
Carry it
differently.
well or whatever.
I
Yeah.
think usually is you're over 100 pounds at least, which I
You
definitely
have to be
am.
100 pounds over your BMI.
Yeah, or whatever your, so like my target BMI weight would be 150. And I think I might look kind of funny at 150.
It's hard to get to.
I'm 5'6", yeah. But
Yeah.
I think if I actually was 150, I might look kind of underweight. So
Oh yeah.
realistically, I'm actually looking like 180.
Yeah.
Hello.
Sorry.
Hey, how are you?
Other people.
Are you chaired?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
So for me, they were able to
No, that's
fast
personal.
track me. No, you're fine. I'm glad because I was able to
Common now.
go ask people.
In a while, but it seems like more people are getting it done.
I think as it's gotten so much safer,
I guess.
just as it's gone on. But no, in 3 months I was able to get it done. So in January I started the pre-op things.
I
And
always thought it was like years. Like they make you try to lose weight the regular way.
Everything's set up right.
yeah, we're recording right now.
Oh, we are, okay.
We're not live streaming, but we are recording.
And you're in the
Cool stuff.
education.
I am. Oh, look, like I have an intro slide.
Oh, good.
I'll make it helpful.
I like your, but you're in
I
education.
just thought I'd start with so people have things to do, but you know what? They might be ready to let their brains rest. Chloe, did you ever take multicultural communication?
Yes.
Are you just back for more? Yeah, that's like him. Why Dr. Roper was like, "Hey." But yeah, I forgot you actually introduced me. Thank you. The power of AI, right? You just hit the design tool and it makes it look good. Yeah,
Have you done that, the AI Auburn class
I
yet?
did. I was in the pilot for that.
I'm starting.
It's really cool.
Yeah, how do you liked it?
Oh yeah, but it's a lot to read, so I'm actually gonna have to go back
Yeah.
because I did a lot of skimming.
Uh-huh.
But Auburn's done a really good job.
I heard it was really good. I'm looking forward to starting that. I think it starts this week. So
It's really informative. And then I have some students who they want to go to a conference in fall and do a panel on AI literacy. So I'm going to go back and fish through it for the research part of that too. So the only thing about as I was telling Kim and everybody I had bariatric surgery less than a week ago is I'm like kind of constantly out of breath. So
do you want me to get you anything to drink?
oh no, I've got it. I've got like I'm on a schedule.
Okay, good.
I got my Gatorade ready. But it is like kind of putting me out of breath. Hey, I know you. Look at your hair. It's so cute.
Thanks. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Came up those stairs and I'm like, oh, I know.
I can't do
It's me every
stairs right now.
time.
Not funny. I'm going to give the spiel at the beginning too, just to explain. This is why I'm like this. If I talk too long.
How are you feeling?
Good. But the reason why is like it's laparoscopic, so they do these little incisions everywhere. So what's
Isn't
like
that amazing? Oh,
yeah, but it's way better than if they were like
right. No, it is amazing. The recovery time is better after that.
yeah. The only thing I miss is coffee, honestly. People make coffee at my house every morning. I'm like,
Glad I didn't bring my. Just let me smell it. And
my first night back from the hospital, they ordered Ramona J's and like having hamburgers, and they were like, "You're just gonna get used to it." I was like, "I just do."
When can you eat that stuff eventually? Or?
I'm on. At first, you can only do like clear liquids, and now I'm on what they call full liquids. So it can be like mashed to the consistency of baby food, sugar-free Jello, and lots of Gatorade. Like
You have
Gatorade
like mashed
Zero.
potatoes and stuff.
Yeah, I actually had some today.
Oh, good. Okay.
And they got protein powder, but they're just like super mashed, and you can only have half a cup of anything, like for life.
At one time.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
But you'll definitely lose the weight.
Of food?
Yeah. I've lost 14 pounds already. Oh my God, isn't that crazy?
Congratulations.
And I'm excited.
That is awesome.
I'm excited. It's also, you have a moment of, they're taking 85% of my stomach away, and what am I doing to my stomach? But
We have 2 more minutes.
okay, yeah, where did I put my phone? I'm one of those people who never wear a watch, so I always look like very professional.
And what is this from 10 to 10:50?
Yes.
Do you want me to give you a
Yeah,
signal
yeah.
when like is there a Q&A period at the end?
Well, there's actually a practice at the end, so we'll just cut that out
Okay.
if we don't have time for it.
10 to 10:50. So I'll tell you, I'll kind of get your attention for like 10:45. So you know.
Yeah, I'll actually ask them, like, do y'all want to practice or do y'all want a Q&A?
Mhm.
Because they might rather do that.
Good question.
Oh yeah, my plan was I was gonna record a mini lecture and nobody came because there's so many good options, especially right now. You guys chose public speaking over Escape Artist Guide to Breaking Out of Writer's Block. That's exciting.
Not to mention how to write a capstone.
Right? Valentina's out. She's out today.
I just did Tucker. I was like, my
Tucker
dude,
here?
I need to go.
I have to write a capstone. I wish I'd known that was on the schedule because I have a few students who could use it.
Sarah Nunley is there right now. I was like,
Good.
Oh yeah.
She did her poster.
Tucker's here today, isn't he? Is he working it or is he?
No, he's just chilling.
Our vendors room.
Yes. So
Tucker Constable.
I think he's going to the AI one now,
Oh yeah.
and then we're meeting at the Poet Laureates.
Yeah.
The AI one I really wanted to go to, Dr. Roper scheduled me to do a crime fiction thing later, so I was like, but it's okay.
Okay.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to the Athens State University Summer Writing Summit. We are glad to have everyone here. We have Dr. Patricia Elmore from the College of Education, an assistant professor who is going to tell us how to choose our words wisely. So just learn some effective strategies and all that good stuff.
I try to choose my words. Thank you, Dr. Elmore. Thank you. And as I was telling some folks as they came in, I did have bariatric surgery less than a week ago, so sometimes I kind of get out of breath. That's all it is. I promise I'm not going to fall out. And I promise I'm not being a hypocrite when I talk about how you have to practice your breathing and you have to take good breaths. It just runs out a little bit. The first thing I was going to ask us to do is just think about, why are you here? You chose a public speaking session over all the other cool things going on right now. So why are you personally interested in it? It could be because you're like Valentina, who I happen to know is a teacher. So teachers do a lot of public speaking, right? Maybe you're just in general tired of being terrified whenever somebody asks you to get up and say something or to do a toast. Maybe you've got a summer graduation speech coming up and you've been asked to talk. Also, let me know a couple of your natural strengths. And then are there any areas you really want to improve?
just so that we have some self-reflection as we're going through. So what makes an effective and engaging public speaker? And I would have to say the very first thing is they know their purpose. There are really two purposes to public speaking. And I know English teachers are like, you know, that they'll say, no, there's a whole pie chart actually. It's the persuade and inform and explain. I think you can really boil it down to you're either trying to inspire or you're trying to inform in some way. And I think we can throw arguing underneath both of those, right? So you're either there to inspire or you're there to inform. So the first thing to do when you're planning to public speak is decide, am I going to be trying to inspire? So I'm trying to emotionally manipulate my audience, right? Or lift up my audience in some way or persuade them through inspiration? Or am I there to strictly inform? Am I just giving facts? Am I giving details, directions? The first thing is decide, what is my purpose? The second most important thing, and if you've had me as a student before, you've heard, especially in a college of education class, right? You've heard me talk about performing confidence. I am actually naturally incredibly introverted, believe it or not. Nobody would have ever thought that I was going to grow up to become a teacher, but I was a middle school teacher, believe it or not. I'm still alive. And now I'm a college professor, and I'm also still alive. So you perform confidence. And one way you do that is you have to master your breathing, so to say. So a lot of folks, before they learn how to breathe, naturally, is they kind of breathe from here up in your throat. If you've ever been in theater, though, or if you've been in band, you've learned how to use your diaphragm, right? So if you want to stand up with me, but did say this could be interactive. First, just take a breath. Just take a breath. Sorry, I made you sick. I'm just. And it kind of comes from right here, right? But if you put your hands right here, sort of around your belly button, take that deep breath. Your shoulders even might go up a little bit. There you're breathing for your diaphragm. And when we're giving a speech, we might not always go, right? But your breaths do need to come from here. So you want to plan your pauses. So plan when in your speech. You can sit down. You can plan, when am I going to breathe? You want to have that kind of mapped out. Otherwise, you will find yourself running out of breath. You'll be afraid to stop because sometimes public speakers are afraid to slow down. I'm really bad about talking 90 nothing myself. From the South. Did you know there's this misconception that people in the South talk really slow? I don't know how loud they. Actually, people in the South talk quite fast. We slow down for everybody else, right? But left to our own devices, we tend to talk pretty fast. But really good, effective speakers, they know how to slow down, how to make it more like a conversation, right? To the next point, eye contact. I heard some really good advice one time about eye contact. And it's that you should kind of look at everybody in the room just enough to kind of make a brief eye contact, right? You don't want to stare someone down because you start to intimidate them. Am I doing it? They're like, why are they looking at me? And you have to think about the science behind that, right? I mean, predators have their eyes in the front. Think back to your science class. So I'm like looking at you like, pray. Now, if you're going to be a teacher, like Valentina already is a teacher, congratulations. It comes in handy because if she's acting up, that's all I got to do, right? You remember your teacher used to do it to you. Or maybe you've done it to do to kids, right? College students, it works. Mm-hmm. So you can weld and remember your eye contact is a weapon. Or it's also just an acknowledgement of, hey, I'm talking to you, right? We're making connections here, like really quick connections as I look around, right? Eye contact can be hard when you first get into public speaking because it might not be you're familiar with what you're delivering. So you're very dependent on notes. So you just want to rehearse a lot. You want to rehearse to the point that you are speaking naturally. So it comes across very natural when you're speaking. It's not like I'm reading off my notes. It's very easy. You ever been somewhere where somebody's reading a paper to you? Like just reading the PowerPoint to you? It's incredibly boring, right? Don't kill people with PowerPoint. And then they're just obviously prepared. Think to yourself, how do I know somebody is obviously prepared? What do they look like? What do they sound like? And that's what you want to be, right? You don't want to be overly dependent on your notes, reading off the PowerPoint, scrambling around trying to find things. Imagine if you'd come in here and I'd be like, oh, wait, I got to get the Zoom recording going, and calling myself out because sometimes I actually do start class this way where I'm like, I forgot to do things. But to be obviously prepared is just also be professional, right? I know that I am here today to speak and I value your time, so I'm going to be ready to go. Like I didn't just wing this last night. That goes for teachers too. We cannot be winging things. Sometimes I'll have students, they'll tell me, oh yeah, the lesson went okay. I kind of winged it. I think it could have been better. And I was like, why are you telling me that? That is terrible. Don't wing your lessons. These are people's children and their education and their future is in your hands, right? We want to make sure we're putting thought and care into things. So some other things, body language. This is the one students in my multicultural communication class always just find the most interesting to talk about. Two of you have been in that class before, I want to say. Do you remember any of the body language tips that we had in that class? Don't cross your arms, right? Try not to cross your arms. Try not to look like you're going to the bathroom. Some of this is obvious, but next time you public speak, get somebody to record you and see how much of it you're doing. Do you look like you need to go to the bathroom? Are you T-Rexing? Are you grabbing like a T-Rex in Jurassic Park, like points? The cowboy is one we see. You know, are you dancing? You know, like I'm at the ranch.
Hands inside the pocket.
Which your hands in your pockets can make you come across as professional if you're kind of casually moving around with them. Yeah. If you're not sure what to do with your hands, you can always go back to here. Or go back like a seatbelt almost. You just don't want to leave them here because then you start to like be sick. Ooh, I'm so nervous, right? But this is a nice safety position. Even if you're at a podium, a lot of times when we first start public speaking, or just naturally, there's going to be a podium there, right? Or you need somewhere to put your big teacher's manual on top of. Then you can put your hands on the podium. You just don't want to leave them there because you don't want to look like you're gripping it for dear life. Because then your audience will start to lose faith in you. They'll start to think, you know what you're talking about. You're just kind of getting up there winging it. Winging it is never good. So body language, you want to practice good body language. Plant your feet in the ground. Try not to like wibble wobble. Teachers, don't lean on the board. You'll end up with stuff all over your back. But also try not to lean on things. When you take movements, you want it to be purposeful. So if I'm making a statement and I'm going to move, there should be a reason. Currently, I've been moving around because it just makes it more casual. You know, plus, and I hate holding. I hate being stuck behind them. It's also more open. It opens you up more. Like my whole body, like I'm very vulnerable right now, right? You can see all of me. I can't feel like. So practice your body language. Practice hand movements. There's some really effective ones out there. I'm trying to mimic some of them now. Really open, open hands. You can bring it back to the center. You can rope everybody into your point. You want to avoid this. This is condescending, but you'll see even politicians do it, and it lets you know what they're thinking about their audience. They'll be like, listen to me. I know what's right. It's like, no, you think I'm dumb. You're like, sit down. Definitely don't snap at people, I feel like I have to say. Because I've seen it where like adults, especially in the South, like snap at people. We snap at dogs, we don't snap at people, right? So, body language. Any questions about body language or anything if you've had multicultural communication before and you're like, she didn't say this, it was so useful.
Body language varies by culture.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're working with someone from a different culture, from a different part of the world, they might have body language that makes you uncomfortable, or you may have to adapt your body language to them.
Very good. And going back to even in the South in particular, things like eye contact with students. Some student populations direct eye contact. A student will not make contact with you because their mama would slap them upside the head. It's considered disrespectful, right? Yeah. Whereas the home I was raised in, if I wasn't looking at them when they were getting on me, I was being disrespectful. If I did this, they'd be like, what do you mean you're not looking at me? So you have to learn your community, know your audience too.
I was thinking about like in the classroom setting, I guess neurodivergent children, they need to fidget.
Yeah.
And being okay with knowing that your audience is going to be fidgety
shouldn't distract you from what you're speaking.
And neurodivergent folks can be excellent public speakers too. They just learn to channel that energy. They might end up doing this a little bit more, but they find a way to make it purposeful. They might end up kind of doing this a little like softly, and that's totally fine, right? So anybody can be a public speaker, I guess is my point. But thank you for bringing both of those points up. Those are really good. Number 4, you want to be easy to follow. So really pleasant to listen to, easy to keep along with. These are basic things like your rate. So how fast are you talking? Your tone. Are you way out there? Are you like way down here? It's really good to kind of vary these so that you stay interesting. Because if you always stay at the same place, what does our brain tend to do? You turn into white noise, right? Like Charlie Brown's mom, rah, 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 rah. Raise your hand if you had a teacher like that. They were just like, rah, 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 like that. Using repetition. So kind of saying the same thing over and over again. This can also lean into, and I'll come back to props, call and response. So if I say something that you know the answer to, right? If I say, you know what Mr. Rogers said in a bad situation, you should always look for the good people, the helpers, right? And if I brought that back up over and over again in my speech, right, more of the audience would start to engage. And it gives you something to do because people hate to be talked at. We currently live in like TikTok times where I can be just instant entertained, right? So attention spans are so short. When they said this was 50 minutes, I thought, it's hard to keep people focused on something for that long now. Our attention can just be everywhere. One thing I really like that this gentleman uses, and I'm afraid I cannot pronounce his name, but he is one of the world champions of public speaking. And I always show a speech that he does to my multicultural communication class. Do y'all remember him? He's brilliant, and I've got the link on here. And if you want me to email this PowerPoint to you, my information will be at the end, and you can watch it for yourself. But I like how he uses props to bookend his speech here. And one of the things he says is, people are a lot like flowers, right? We have to be nurtured, we have to be taken care of, and some people help us, and some people, they don't. They take away from us. Some people in your life might pull at your self-esteem. Some people might pull at your self-confidence. And before you know it, you feel like there's nothing left. And they just throw you in the trash. And he starts his speech out like that and then goes through a whole, 7-minute speech about all the people who have made him who he is. From his teachers to his wife, to his pastor, just everyone who has contributed to building him up to being the world's greatest public speaker as of 2014, right? And then at the end, he comes back and he says, in your life, there will always be people who pull you down. There will be events that hit you hard, but there will also be, he reaches into the trash can and he pulls out another prop. There will be people there who put you back together, who are there to help you grow. And those are the people that you look for. And then he wonderfully throws his rose into the audience. Awesome. So consider using props, I guess, is my point there, because he does it so wonderfully. Now it looks like we're going to a bridal shower or something. And finally, and I've talked about it a little bit already, but appealing to emotion and logic and authority. So a lot of times when people start off their public speech, they'll say, good morning. Thank you so much for having me to be here. I had somebody introduce me, right? She did a wonderful job. But I could have established my own authority by saying, my name is Dr. Patricia Elmore. I'm an assistant professor and I teach multicultural communication. And that would establish credibility. And that's different than me just saying, I drive a taxi and I'm going to talk about public speaking. Not that taxi drivers aren't great public speakers. Oh, God. I mean, they can talk, right?
Play to audience after audience.
Right? Might not have picked a great one there. Trying to think.
Trash collectors.
There you go. Just something where you might generally always be public speaking, right? And it wouldn't have established my credibility the same way. This is why you plan your speeches better. Because now I'm reaching. But, and then there's also appeals to logic. So logically, why does this make sense? So hopefully the things I'm saying this morning, they just make sense. Some of them could be things like, I already knew that. Or sometimes, and it's really great when you go, oh yeah, I knew that. I just hadn't thought about it in a while. I like it when those kind of things click in. And then finally, appeals to emotion, which are probably the most effective way to get people's attention. Yeah. So you might cite statistics, tell a story, say a very inspirational quote. Maya Angelou once said this, lift you up. Self-disclosure, which is something you have to be careful about. You don't want to over self-disclose, and you have to read your audience. Like I have self-disclosed a little strategically today about having bariatric surgery, right? That's a little bit of appealing to your pathos, right? Appealing to your emotions. Don't you feel sorry for me? Aren't you going to rate me really high on the survey? um, but um, but yeah, those are all different things you should do. You should weave these things into your speech, your public speaking. Now, as far as structuring it goes, there's a very classic, true as old as time method. It's the 3-act method, or it's the tell them what you're going to tell them, and then remind them what you told them, right?
Yep.
Today, I'm going to talk to you about this. I'm going to tell you 3 things about this. Bam, bam, and bam. I go through them, and at the end, it has been my pleasure today, graduates, students, to talk to you about these 3 things. This is what they were. Do you have any questions? Makes it sound so easy, doesn't it? But it really is a very useful structure for structuring public speaking. So here's the 3 points method kind of outlined. Good morning. My name is Dr. Patricia Elmore. I'm an assistant professor of English education at Athens State University. Today, it is my pleasure to talk to you about 3 reasons why you should become an English teacher in the state of Alabama. I didn't actually write them out, but I can tell you 1, there's a national teacher shortage. You will definitely get a job. And then I can have another reason and a 3rd reason. And then I would actually go through each of these reasons and why it would just benefit you so much in society, in life, in the children. And then I would end with something like, teaching is called the first profession because all professions are made possible by mentors who pass down their knowledge and skills. You think of the people who have mentored you, and you're where you are because you're where you are, because of them, right? Think of how many of them were teachers. And if they weren't actual school teachers, maybe they were other kinds of teachers. Like our mother and our father are often our first teachers, often grandparents, aunties, uncles, maybe cousins that are nice. My cousins taught me to like never talk back to them. That's like the first thing they say. I was like, well, why are we doing this? Because I said so. That's all they ever taught me. They were very much like, be quiet. Today, I've shared 3 reasons why you should become an English teacher in the state of Alabama, and then I would repeat them, this, and this. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. I think closing public speaking is also pretty hard for people when they're new to public speaking, because it's so awkward. You're like, okay, I'm done now. He's been in public speaking class, multicultural communication in the first couple speeches. How many people did that? They were like, all right, I'm done now. I don't know what to do. You can just say, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for making eye contact and nodding and, giving me that affirmative body. It made me feel better, that good body language. But yeah, I'm listening. Just say thank you. Have a wonderful day. The most embarrassing thing is if you're talking in the morning and you accidentally say, have a good evening. Right. But then it's just funny, and you can diffuse it with humor. Humor is a great place to go in public speaking. And if you kind of muffle and fall over the place, like I actually have today, it's okay. You guys didn't jump up and beat me up, right? Nobody started throwing. She didn't throw the rose back at me. It was okay. It just shows that I'm a human being. So in the time we have left, it's 10:20, and I wanted to leave time for us to practice. Because you came to a public speaking thing. I thought they're going to want to practice public speaking. So we're going to practice public speaking. And you aren't being recorded, so you can go back and like watch yourself later. But you can stand back here and be mostly hidden behind the podium.
And I have to do it every week. It's part of my job, right?
I did it for her.
So here, like she did 4 speeches and did great, right? It's like an incline, just get better and better. So the things that you're just going to tell us about herself is, good morning. My name is, my profession, or whatever it is you do for fun most of the day, is this, and my favorite place to be is this. Thank you. And that's all the public speaking we're going to do. See, like no blood will be drawn. There's no like gauntlet to walk through. But I'm going to give you a second to kind of write down your answers you can have another index card if you need it. Write down your answers, and I'm going to let you practice with a partner, and you can come up here and practice. And they're like, why did I come here? Come here. They
I
say,
will come over and
Dr.
care
Jax
over here.
came back and like, oh, I'm so nervous. Like she doesn't talk for a profession. Just like me.
Yes, my profession is talking.
And more self-disclosure, I actually have a lisp, and you might be hearing it some, like I have a lisp and a stutter. And I just say it to again say anybody can become a public speaker. These are things that you can kind of work through. And it gets easier and better with time.
Not once ever identified your list.
Oh,
You've
you've never
always
heard
said it, and I'm like, not once.
that. Makes me happy.
Yeah, I never noticed.
Thank you.
Probably because I do it myself.
But I still talk about it because, and like you'll have students with a lisp and they'll be terrified because it's very embarrassing. You know, it sounds like that. If it's coming out on, it's just very, and you have to actively not do it.
I famously say that I talk faster than I think, so it comes out very stuttery.
This was a mistake because I'm not supposed to be in there.
I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll get it for you.
I'll
It's
send
okay.
them that. You know, there's this. It's such a pack. Yeah, I should roll a little trash can, then I wouldn't have been so messy. I had an extra row in case of that. I'll get it to you. Thank you.
It's surprisingly, it's very hard to find a job. That's why when you said that there's a teacher shortage, I'm like, are you elementary? Are you in
Secondary.
Well, I graduated. But
Worked with them the last 11
Elementary. Over to that show.
language arts.
I became right? Yeah, I'm pre-K through a third.
Loved it.
Oh,
Loved it. Loved it.
Right here.
Really enjoyed it. It was so good.
Everybody moves. That's why.
I'm usually like, I don't know what I mean. Really excited.
And Valentina, you can practice what I'll say.
I was in the class.
Yeah.
I know you love you too.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
You gonna plant your feet?
Once about 11, Dr. Long.
To open up.
Yeah, my thing is sometimes I get like maybe inflatable like in your mind a little.
Very engaged.
That's the point, right? Like everybody starts somewhere. I started out there.
I used to study for years. I taught you. I don't want to get nervous. You could because I've talked so much.
It's normal. I was nervous when they walked in. It's fine.
In the early.
It's like, we're gonna have fun today.
And my football teaching.
Warm, coughed, and
It was probably 4 years ago.
25.
As provost, I was in the, and I had to, I was a campus host, and I had to introduce myself to everybody, all the administrators, all the faculty, what was the first thing. I was so, I'll never forget that. That turned me. I was like, I don't want to do that again.
By the way,
Can I be okay?
Yeah, oh, no, what it is, when they do the surgery, they go in 6 ways, and they blow you up with gas.
Yeah,
I kind of, I mean, you know. Yeah, and I'm trying not to go.
No, I know.
Basically have to burn the out for like 3 weeks.
Years ago, I had some.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. Today was a college day to wear, but because I've lost the weight, you're not.
Yeah.
They're pretty loose. It's okay. So Kim was like, yeah, we're at the state shirt and jeans. Okay.
He told us the chairs and people were in blue, like Athens State shirt.
Yeah.
I didn't. I love the light blue one.
Yeah. I was like, I look like I'm from the
Oh, I
catalog.
love that
The
hair.
catalog today.
My Athens State.
I just didn't want to worry about my hair today, so I was like, we're just gonna have this.
It's a great
Oh,
cat.
I lost my hair back. Okay.
Alumni.
All right. You think about 30 seconds, you guys will be ready? All right. Valentina's already volunteered to go first.
All right.
Sorry, y'all. I just ate a couple.
And then she's going to pick the person that she likes the most or hates the most,
Okay.
and they'll never know which it was. Especially, and that's who will go next.
I figure of the people in the room, I'm one of the ones she knows. the
She'll be
most.
like, well, that's exactly.
That's exactly why you were gonna pick me. Okay.
No, in my classes, it's just something I tend to do. I'm like, just pick the person you like or you dislike the most, and they'll never know, and that's who'll go next.
Okay.
She's like, is that okay? Yeah. You never know. Usually, it's they don't know each
I
other.
put names in a basket.
Yeah. No, I want you to have some agency.
No, I seriously put names in a basket and I have people draw names.
I might steal that.
Well, they sign up on speech days in class, but.
It's like the Hunger Games.
All right,
Yes,
so-
it's both for us.
I know.
Yes. May the odds be ever in your favor, except everyone's name will be drawn.
Also, you're welcome to stand back here if you want to, or you can stand out like here, or anywhere you want to. You get out of the way.
Good morning, everyone.
It's still morning.
I'm just making sure. So my name is Valentina Castilla. I was formerly an Athens student, which makes me an alumni. Dr. Jack and I both graduated this spring term. My current profession, which I was more than blessed to be hired at Austin Middle School in Decatur. I am their new 7th grade English language arts teacher. So I decided to come because they definitely need the refresher, especially with little middle schoolers. They are a lot. And my favorite place to be, it's gonna sound boring, but it's a bed. I love just laying in bed and watching movies. I don't think there's anything better. Aside from that, if I'm not in bed, you're gonna find me on my couch. I am a homebody, 100% through and through. So that's just a little bit about me, and thank you for your time.
Very nice. I love that. Also, something that we always do in multicultural communication, I didn't bring sticky notes, guys, but we do have lots of index cards. So when somebody gives their speech, if you'll write down something you like that they did, and we'll give it to them. And that way they get some feedback, right?
And it's also a good way to learn, hey, I want to replicate that when I start doing mine, or don't want to do it. I'm not going to write that down.
Yeah, you could rip index cards in half if you want to make more. Or I have.
was gonna do.
Yeah. But yeah, just give her a moment of feedback, and that gives Dr. Jack a moment to get over her nervousness.
Oh, terror.
Yeah, they were both my professors.
I
I minored in English.
know one thing I would write for Valentina is she did a very nice job of planting those feet. Yeah, right. Planting those feet.
I was always doing it today, right? I was always acting like I was on a boat.
One thing I'm continuously struggle with is this, like conducting.
You're just talking with your hands.
I do talk with my hands. Are you ready?
All right, I was giving people a moment to write down feedback for Valentina. All right. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Kimberly Jack. I am currently an associate professor of English and drama here at Athens State University. Come August, I will be promoted to full professor. And yes, I am part of the English program and was very, very happy to snag Dr. Elmore as our ELA specialist. So that's who I am, what my profession is. And given my profession, my favorite place to be is actually in the classroom. I absolutely love being face to face with my students and helping them navigate a particularly difficult passage of Chaucer or Beowulf or a weird mythology example, and seeing the light bulb go on and seeing them go from to, I love seeing that. It energizes me. Teaching asynchronous online, I'll do, and I do it well. I actually got an award last year for doing it well, but it doesn't energize me to the same extent that being in a room with other people does. So my favorite place to be, right where I'm standing.
Nice use of
Thank you.
repetition. All right. All right, Kim, who would you like to go next?
Oh, I get to pick somebody.
Eeny, meeny,
So
miny.
let's see. Let's pick somebody I don't know. Yeah, you're off the hook, darling. Okay, so eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. No, eeny,
That just makes it worse now.
No.
while she's coming up, if you don't mind, write something down that you like that Kim Jack did.
Thank you.
And also while she's coming up, we can go back to when I was public speaking a while ago, and I was struggling to think of like a career, somebody who doesn't really talk a lot, and also struggling not to insult anybody. That's another point I wanted to bring up though, is when you public speak, you'll always have a chance to think back, what could I do better? And that's good. It's good to like go back and think, what could I change? As I was thinking, I was like, I should have pre-planned that. And I would have said, maybe cybersecurity, somebody who's always kind of with the computer. They're not really around people a lot. And that's a safe place to go. So yes, self-reflection. And if you make mistakes,
I picked trash collector because when I was teaching in Chicago, brand new teacher, I told students everybody has to be able to write, even if it's an email, even if it's a text, even if it's a simple thing. And one student is like, what about a trash collector? And I pointed out that there was a brand new book on bookshelves in Chicago for the trash collector's guide to great cheap eats in Chicago. And I'm like, he wrote a book.
all right, Ms. Nina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nina Buckner, and I am a Spanish and English teacher at a school in Nashville. I forgot its name, but it's my first year, so. And I struggled to say Spanish and English because I taught Spanish last year, and I'm teaching English as a second language this year, so it's going to be interesting. My favorite place to be is inside, well, actually outside of a coffee shop or some shop like that with a book, journaling, and waiting for a friend to show up because I don't want to know that I'll be there by myself the whole time. And I'm both introverted and extroverted, so I like time alone, just knowing that eventually I will see a friend. So that's me. Thank you for listening.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. Will you choose somebody to go next? There we go. All right. Well, she's coming up and getting comfortable. If you'll send Nina a message. I like this thing that you did.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
It's a thing, and now that you're a teacher, you'll find it. We become like the worst at sitting for too long. We really are. Just love yourselves off. That's like the other negative thing about us. This part's interesting to me because I think it's so fun to find out like what you guys do. It helps me think, well, what are they going to use this towards, We got 15 minutes. We're good. Some of you are like, I might not get to go, darn. We only got 4. We got 4 left. We do it. Like, 2 more minutes. I won't make it. All right, you ready? Take it away.
Good morning. My name is Eileen McCloskey, and I am the Youth Services Department Manager at the Madison Public Library, close by in Madison, Alabama. And I love being engaged in meaningful conversation and having walks with friends, and also doing storytelling. So those are kind of my favorite things I enjoy doing. And it kind of stems from, I recently started writing this past December, and I kind of rediscovered my love of writing after a decades-long hiatus. So it's been cathartic and therapeutic, and it's been a new way that I connect with other people.
Thank you. All right, who's going next?
Let's see.
She looked ready. She was like, pick me. No way. Sometimes you can tell I used to teach middle school. I have that middle school teacher energy. So it can be a little much.
That's the act I'm going to have to invoke. Hi, I'm Lisa Fletcher, and I always like to share I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I am the grandmother of 4 adorable children, granddaughters. They are aged 4 through 13. My profession, I serve as the Student Success Coordinator of Star Institute at Calhoun Community College. And Star Institute is our student tutoring and academic resource center. I am certified K through 6 as well, and that's why I was sharing earlier. Just choose a higher grade in which to teach.
My favorite place to be is at church. I teach Sunday school, I teach Bible study, and I also serve as our male chorus directress. And so I love to hear and to instruct them as we minister in song to our Lord and Savior. Public speaking is something that I want to get into professionally. In fact, at the beginning of the year, I had shared with my husband that I felt the Lord was going to open some doors to get into public speaking. Exactly 3 weeks later, I was asked to come and speak publicly, one at a church on their women's tea, and then at another time I did a time management and also leadership management course with our church as far as public speaking as well. So that's a little bit about me, and thank you for allowing me to share.
Very nice. All right, we got Chloe, and I haven't called your name yet. Maria. Maria looks like she's ready to go. All right, Maria, let's go.
You're welcome to go into that.
There's always the one or two, right? It's like fish filling, yeah. All right, you can bring your goats if you want.
If I don't know myself, who does?
Right? Then I can stand by you. I'll stand by you. And I'll resist it. I'll resist it like the pantomime.
My name's Maria Ramstein. I don't like this speech because everyone asks, what do you do? And I'm not currently employed. So
What do you like to do for fun?
I actually graduated from Athens State and I taught for 6 or 7 years, but I never got tenure.
What grade did you?
6 through 12, I've done middle and
Yeah.
Which did you like more?
11th grade would be my preference.
Tell us about 11th grade and why they're amazing.
Well, my most interesting teacher job, I actually taught for Pinnacle Schools, if anyone was aware of all that. You can also lose your job if your boss has an affair with someone who works. Not my fault.
So you have the most interesting speech so far.
You're being recorded.
That's also very interesting. He goes back and runs for office.
God. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh, I didn't know names, but teaching is a hard profession because you can lose your job for lots of reasons. It's okay. I mean, I guess someday I'll find something that's not teaching because I guess it's not for me. Well, I've taught for Huntsville City for a couple years after that. And then I've taught for a private school and I actually taught in North Carolina. So
Maybe
I
one
tried
day
things.
you'll think higher ed. We got tea too. Don't get me wrong, but it's pretty fun. I mean, do I look like I'm having fun?
I will have to get my master's and they said, get your high school job before you get your master's because they have to hire you at a higher rate. Yes, but if you want to teach high school, you better have your master's. So I haven't
understand.
completed it yet, so we'll see. I don't know.
Tell us your favorite place to be, not the classroom. Tell that.
I actually love teaching, and my favorite teaching job of all of those was Pinnacle. All of my kids came from challenging backgrounds in that environment, but they all had, by necessity, they needed to improve themselves, but a lot of them were on probation. So, but they actually were they realized it was on them. Which a lot of kids, especially private school kids, it's not on them, it's, I'm going to get my mom to tell them.
Yeah.
So they were trying to form their own future. And part of what I've learned through teaching is that everyone is smart in their own way and has skills. I mean, a lot of these kids were actually on their own. That's why they had gone to jail and got back out. But they had great business skills, that's for sure. I mean, you know, they got caught selling drugs, but they were aware of people skills, how to interact with others. They were actually much more interactive than people from different socioeconomic, you know, they knew how to talk to people. And that is a skill that a lot of people do not have anymore.
Yeah.
And they learned it through necessity, but that's actually, they have a lot to teach the other kids, in my opinion. Exactly.
And it's clear that you have a heart for them. So to me, I get
But
the vibe that you are a teacher. You just have to find your.
I don't know. I let my license. I'm so tired of reapplying. I worked at 7 different schools, so
All right, you know.
I know. I have to have a master's, which I haven't completed.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids. One's at UAB. One will be a senior in high school this year, and I'm paying for their college.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to pay for mine too at the same time.
I think that's a completely okay place to be.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite authors is J.R. Tolkien.
Yeah.
And you probably already think that you're a Tolkien fan. That's what I was gonna say. Not all who wander are lost, right?
Yeah.
We're all there somewhere,
I don't
right?
know what I'm doing.
Well, thank you so much. I don't forget to write Maria some positive feelings. And last but not least, I think we have time for Chloe to go.
Oh,
Do you have time for Chloe to go?
yes, we do. It's 10:42.
Look at that time management.
I love that.
All right,
Oh, by the way, thank you for that.
Lots of things.
Teacher.
And most people.
I'm gonna be like, we have our recording, but I can clip that part out.
I didn't put any name.
No names.
completely
No names.
Oh, but I get the reference. I get it.
All right, let me get out of the way.
Hi, I'm Chloe Miner. I am an alumni of Athens State University as of April, so woohoo. I am an early childhood education major with a minor in English. That's why I know these two. And so let's see, my profession, I don't really have one currently, but I am job searching very, very much these days. And my favorite place to be would honestly probably be Barnes and Noble. I try not to buy anything on there because I'm unemployed, but it gives me a calm vibe. And I don't know, it's just being around a bunch of books. I originally wanted to be a librarian. But in high school, my librarians, they're like, oh, it's a dying profession. You shouldn't do it. So eventually, when I do get tenure, fingers crossed, at a school, then I plan on getting my master's in early childhood with probably like a concentration in media specialist. Because then when I'm old, I can be a librarian and that would be cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Right?
Do I qualify as old?
I will go to Barnes and Noble, take pictures of the books I'm
Yeah.
interested in, and then go to the Madison Public
Yeah.
Library
Check them out.
and either put them on order or check them out.
Yes.
Do too with this library.
Return one.
You can do it with this library too. We can.
Yeah.
And I was just sharing with her, I retired 3 years, and my dream job is to work as a Huntsville Madison County Public Library.
Yeah.
And,
It seems like they mostly start part-time. You could speak to it.
It varies. I started full-time,
But do you have a degree in library?
I didn't when I started. I was in school.
How did you get your
here.
grandmother down?
That was not my plan to start to work full-time and work on my master's, but that's just how it worked out.
I've interviewed with them before. If you start part-time, you also have to commit to working weekends.
But
It's not,
I have to, I work evenings.
you don't have an
Everyone.
master's in English, which is what you want. You want class A.
You know what I mean?
Hopefully someday, like Dr. Hall is really interested.
No, I get
Yeah,
that.
we definitely have people here who can teach slides.
Yeah, we would have.
Right.
Has a master's.
So many of our students want to come back and master in education. I really hope that we get that.
That would be great.
So I think we have maybe 3 minutes left. 5 minutes. Oh, awesome. What are your big takeaways from today? And I thought I would just kind of go around and just think of I have a big takeaway and just ask you what it is. More public speaking, right? Valentina, what did you take away from today?
I wrote it down. Slow down. Monitor your breathing. Positive affirmations. Thank you. Always be grateful for having your audience actually take the time to be there.
Right, because y'all don't have to be here entertaining this fool, right? You could have walked out halfway if you wanted to. Let's go to, is it Irene?
Eileen.
Eileen, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's like the song.
I'll never forget now.
Yeah.
What's something that you're taking away from today?
One of the big takeaways. I liked your illustration about the I never heard the rose petal. Like thinking about just that personal connection with the audience.
Mhm.
And for me, both as a storyteller and a librarian, that it's making that connection with that's what I'm doing, and that's kind of the main takeaway that I have.
Okay.
Awesome. Was it Nina?
Repetition. I tend to think that as a teacher that they're listening and they got it the first time, which is not true.
Not at that level. Maria, something you're taking away. Other than you got some good tea to share.
I'm glad that Athens has a lot more good professors, because I haven't met you personally, but I just love it.
That is such a compliment. Thank you.
No, but really, I loved my time here, and I loved my professors since Shaw has retired, and now.
Maybe one day you'll work here with us, right?
I've got to get a master's at least.
Yeah, you do. Let's go. Who am I not? Chloe. You're never too old.
I guess the takeaway is that you are not the only one that's struggling, because I get.
No, everybody is struggling. Everybody is struggling. You know, that's something to always remember. From the 5-year-old in Walmart wanting the toy, you know, to Granny who has all the answers, everybody is struggling. So always remember you are not the only one struggling. And last but not least, I can't see your name tag because I'm blind.
I'm sorry. My big takeaways, you said the 3 methods?
Yes.
To tell them what you're going to tell them or what you want to tell them, then tell them, and then tell them what you told them.
Yeah, that's a very effective way to go. And then here's my contact information. If you'd like a copy of this PowerPoint, I can email it to you if you just want it, or if you want to steal it and share it. It has the YouTube link to the speaker whose the Rose idea actually was, right? And I completely encourage you to watch his speech. It's so good. It's just such a good example of public speaking. Thank you so much, Chloe. And that's all I have, unless, I accidentally skipped Kim. What's your big takeaway from today?
Sometimes the best part of a prepared speech or lesson plan is when you make room for other contributions, the chit chat for what other people add.
As a teacher, it always helps if you could somehow tie in all those stupid random comments kids say.
Yep.
You know, if you can somehow tie them into the lesson, you get their attention.
Yeah.
It works really well.
And they love being able to contribute their knowledge, right? Even if their knowledge is, that's like that episode of SpongeBob.
Oh, I bet when I had them.
That's great.
Like, they were so scared, but they did so good. I was real proud. They did a lot of shit.
Hey, the time I walked into a classroom, looked at a guy's shirt, and it was this weird umbrella logo, and it said, "Trust me." I looked at it and said, "I'm not trusting anybody wearing that shirt." And people turn and they're like, "What?" Recognized the umbrella corporation, realized, wait a minute, this professor knows what Umbrella Corp is? I'm like, well, I'm married to a gamer and I've watched the Resident Evil films. Yes, I recognized Umbrella Corp. And then I pointed out, yeah, my lesson today is on the Epic of Gilgamesh, which has the first recorded incident of a threatened zombie apocalypse in all of literature. And they went, what? Resident Evil and Gilgamesh. And they're going, okay, now I want to know what it is.
We have 30 seconds left, and in that 30 seconds, I'm going to do a plug. If you enjoyed listening to me talk and you're interested in crime fiction, I actually teach a crime fiction class this summer, and so Dr. Roper asked if I do a plotting a crime session. Ooh. So if you want to come back here at 4:30, we'll be talking about crime. I won't make you get up and talk about crime. You won't have to feel like, this is my ideas for crime fiction, but you will have an opportunity to share if you want to. If you happen to be a crime fiction writer, we're just going to talk about what makes good crime fiction. So feel free to come back. Otherwise, have a really fun conference.
Crime fiction with
and there's a QR code that's supposed to be somewhere.
Yeah, let me get my stuff out.
QR code.
Is there a QR code here?
There's supposed to be some sort of QR code.
I think it's in your
the rooms.
They're not inside our book. There's a QR.
It might be in our